Live streaming is on.
Yeah, like I can't speak for like what kind of role models and stuff he had, but like it's clear that at least in terms of relationship with women, he wasn't looking up to the right things.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I'm fair in saying that at the very least. Like that's not, I believe, too controversial here or there. I just think it has everything to do with the fact that maybe some of the older men around him maybe just didn't, mentor him, or he wasn't accepting their advice, or maybe they didn't know. Maybe he didn't reach out to anyone. Maybe he just didn't have that figure in his life.
I think I'm hoping that with a situation like this, like if he did do it and he does get the book thrown at him, which he should absolutely 100% do. I just hope that, like, the problem with these sort of situations is that there's never ever any examination of why it reached that stage, and I don't think the club would ever would. I mean, to be honest, I don't think the club handles itself right in a lot of ways. I don't think they would ever look at it and go, "What have we done, or what could we do better?"
Yeah,
they might not even do that publicly. They might do something privately, but I doubt it.
I doubt it even happens privately, bro. I'm so sorry, but I don't even like. That's why I kept interrupting. Sorry, but I was just gonna say, like, I doubt that happens. It's all about money, dude. Now it's about replacing his goals and talent and his marketability. It's not about making sure that the next Mason Greenwood doesn't follow with the same fucking behavior. That's not the priority at all.
And I think that's such a shame, because it should be one of those things. Look, I get it when you look at these players, like, they make you so much money in their assets, and if they do something bad, then you kind of just want to cut the cord. But I think that should be a lot of self-reflection and self-examination. And I think just if I don't know, I'm just speaking from the way I look at clubs, and I could be 100% wrong, right? Because I'm not saying that your owners are 100% saints, but the way that I think that you run your club, you may want to do it because of the history and the manager and things like that. They might actually imprint something onto that. Now, I'm not saying that that's 100% going to be the case, but I look at the Glaziers, and I just don't think that that's something that they would want to care about. I don't think. I mean, I say that, and yet FSG is like a lot of clubs owners, like, they have their hands in shit that's not great.
I think. Look, I think with FSG, like, I will never defend any ownership group, right? Because at the end of the day, you're in it for profit, and if I'm not recognizing that, then I'm the fucking idiot. So I think it's important to first point that out, just as a qualification. So I'm not defending FSG here, but I think the mistakes that FSG make are related to their lack of understanding of the culture of the city and the club.
Yep.
And whenever that's pointed out, they redact it very quickly, and they walk back whatever it is, they apologize, and they reverse whatever the fuck they were doing. Like, our season ticket prices have been frozen for like a year or two now, even after the pandemic, which is crazy. So, but I think the reason they make those decisions in the first place that lead to any controversy is because they're money grubbing fucking capitalists, right? Just like the Glazers are. The difference is that FSG hadn't laden the club with debt. And the Glazers are milking United for their own benefit, whereas FSG are also using Liverpool, but they're not milking it, right?
Yeah.
They're using it to make money, but they're not sucking the club of its value to make that money. They're increasing the value of the club continuously while also reaping the profits of it. So I think with the relationship FSG have with Liverpool is more symbiotic, whereas I think the relationship that the Glazers have with Manchester United is very much this is one of the entities that we hold, and this is a very valuable entity.
It's the most valuable entity they own, to be honest.
Yeah.
But actually, this is a good transition into something else that happened. Just how football clubs actually react to certain things, and it's something that Leeds went through recently as well. Maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, there was and like a female pundit came out and said that. She said something along the lines of that Leeds got promoted under Bielsa because of COVID, that there was a break. Now, Bielsa's teams tend to kind of wear, like, because of the way that they run so much, they wear themselves down and they don't finish well.
Yeah.
And that COVID helped them, which, to be very honest, was quite a fair assessment based on previous experience. A bit
Fair,
like
yeah.
there was basis for her argument.
There was basis for it. It wasn't completely ridiculous. I agree.
Yeah, and she got a lot of abuse, and Leeds as a football club also facilitated that, and he never apologized to her.
No.
And I don't know like what happened to her, but she was hounded. And it was really bad. And
it was very bad, bro. It was very bad. I remember reading about it, and it was quite awful. Like, it was quite awful to read the kind of hate that this woman was getting online, and from Leeds fans and other fans, and like just people who jumped on the football bandwagon because there was a woman to be like attacked.
Yeah, and it I mean that's a whole nother conversation about how women are treated in football. I'm not talking about in the game. I mean, you see that in memes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Stuff like that. I mean, in some cases, I kind of get it. Like, I remember the one where this female pundit asked Henri, "What would you be if you weren't a professional footballer?" And he looked at her, and he's like, "An amateur footballer." And she looked at him like, "You wouldn't be rich," and he's like, "Yeah, but I'd be a footballer." And a lot of guys were giving her hate that, oh, she's a woman, she only cares about money, all of that stuff. And yeah, fine, in that sense, maybe, I don't know, but like, I still think it was a bit harsh to go after her like that.
It's harsh.
I think the way that she was trying to say it is like, she's like, oh, you're making a joke, I'll make a joke. Maybe it wasn't a bad joke, but like, like, I'm gonna try and make a joke. And I think that's the side of something that I think that we could talk about later on. I think that's a good conversation to have. But I mean, in that moment, relating back to this argument, I was just trying to say that I don't think football owners or the way football clubs are, they don't actually. It's all about protecting themselves as a business, as an organization. Like, and it's I feel maybe I'm naive when I say this, but I feel that football should be a lot more than that. I think football should be pioneers in so many different ways that if one of your football players ends up beating his wives or something like that, you need to take action. If I mean, fine, going back to this one, if a football player like racially abuses another player, you should take action. Like, these are things that you should kind of learn from and take a stand against. And I mean, I just don't see football clubs doing that. Whether it's Leeds, whether it's Manchester United.
Yeah, I think we attach a lot of love and passion and emotion to our football clubs. And I'm not going to speak for everyone here, but Liverpool is more than like something I watch on TV for me. It's something that I am constantly aware of. When the only social media I have is so that I can follow Liverpool. Like, being a Liverpool fan is an identity for me. The way the players behave on the pitch, off the pitch, the way the manager behaves is a reflection of me as a fan. I take it quite seriously. And I'm guilty of over attaching, personal identity with the identity of the club. Whereas like the club doesn't really give a fuck. The club loves the fact that I buy a shirt every year, home or away, that I'm buying clothes for my niece that are like from the website and shit, like, and that, I subscribe to like LFC TV or what, like they care about that, right?
Mm.
But do they genuinely care about like, how do our fans feel about how we're treating our staff? Like not the players, not the first team, but like the staff. They don't give a shit, bro. It's all about the bottom line. It's all about money, right?
Yeah.
But what I would say is that because FSG come from Wall Street, because they have experience with sports teams like the Boston Red Sox, who are the most Liverpool-esque fan base in American sports. Them and the Boston Celtics used to be great, very historic, and are now trying to like rebuild, right? When FSG came in, and obviously they won a World Series and shit. So, like, I think they understand public image really well.
Yeah.
Whereas the Glazers don't give a fuck.
And I think this is the thing that when I was trying to think more about this, like, I don't recognize the identity of Man United anymore. And I think I grew up in an era where I watched. I mean, when I started watching United play, it was in Pakistan. I had MUTV. I knew nothing about this football club, and it was Man United Everton playing, and I just watched the second half. And I remember I just watched Scholes score a screamer, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
Yeah.
And like I started learning a lot more about the football club, and the history and the traditions of Manchester United was something that they talked about a lot. And now it's just a constant PR machine.
Yeah.
And I just like, fine, it's a club that had superstars, and no doubt about it, but it's also a club that really relied on its youth, that really, you work hard and the fans really care passionately about this club. Like, one thing I will say is that I do appreciate how Manchester United fans have given managers all the time in the world, and yet we're shit. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I apart from that, like, I can see like United fans are still doing a really good job, but at some point, if things don't improve, the whole culture of the club is going to change from the inside and out.
And that takes a manager, I think, right? Like you need someone who is not bigger than the club, but bigger than any player, bigger than
Well,
you need like
the biggest signing in the last 5 years, and I'm talking about his recent contract extension.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like, and you bought some amazing players, Thiago, Diaz, Salah, but I think Klopp is the biggest signing out of all of that because he understands the values of the club. I mean, you can say that about certain clubs as well. Like Bielsa kind of understood. He was what Leeds needed for the longest time. I think managers should be a reflection of the values of the club. They should understand the traditions of the fans and the history of the club. And yeah, just I don't see that with Man United. Possibly Ten Hag seems to be the most sensible appointment that we've had in a long time. But by the way, second half has started.
Yeah, Leeds are on the defensive from where I'm watching.
And this is another thing. Like, I look at Leeds right now, 1-0 down against Manchester City, the champions of England. Sterling actually got past a player. Wow, I'm really impressed. Didn't get past that one. So that was normal service has resumed. My dad would look at Sterling and be like, I don't understand what this guy does. Seriously, my dad, who doesn't watch football, watched England play. Sterling was playing against one of the teams, not the great one, because England play against many great teams. Still got to a final and are really heartbroken that they didn't beat the best side in the tournament, but whatever. He looked at Raheem Sterling and he's like, I don't understand what this Raheem Sterling does. He takes people on and then he either turns back or he loses the ball. That's what Sterling did. And he scored 4 goals and everyone was like, he's the best player in the world. He wasn't really. But
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
not saying Sterling's average. I think Sterling's a great player. I just think he was
I,
hyped up too much, just like every other player that the English media hype up. They just overdo it.
yeah. There was a period early on in Sterling's career, like when he was at Liverpool, like where he was electric.
Yeah.
And
Well, even at City, he's had amazing seasons, bro. But
he
he's
did.
always been like just short of being like one of the best in the world. He's always
So
been great.
I think I remember a few years ago, Sterling started like half a season, like he scored like 23 goals or something ridiculous like
Yeah.
that. And then suddenly, it just went that he like the second half of the season he was shit.
Yeah.
And that's Raheem Sterling. Wow, that has to be a break. Come on, Sterling, don't. Are you gonna do something or are you gonna fuck it up? You're gonna. Oh, he did something.
Foden's had a really
He
good
fucked
year.
it up. He fucked it up. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. No, it wasn't beautiful, Peter Drury. It was like one touch too many and fucked up and wide. Grealish, of course, don't become the new Raheem Sterling. Great run from Raheem Sterling and an end product. What was that? Like, sorry, but like, Paul Merson is someone I gave a lot of shit to because he just kept dissing Man United, and then it turns out that he was completely 100% right. But that end product was awful, awful, awful. And by the way, I do apologize, Paul Merson. Even though I never said anything publicly, privately I trashed you. You were 100% right, and you do actually know your football.
Sterling just kicked that into someone's hand with a twat.
Yeah, he miskicked that into someone's head.
Yeah.
That is a great ball, great defending. Harry Maguire, take note.
I don't think he
Harry
knows how to
Maguire.
write.
I'm sorry, but it is one of the best, funniest things. It can't get old because he keeps fucking up. The one where he was dribbling on the left wing though is hands down my favorite.
Yeah. No, I saw a couple of videos just before the stream. I don't know, I was bored. It was just on my YouTube, like, just shuffles on and off. And it was mainly just like, oh, here it comes. This is the place. Sterling's through here. He's knocked the ball forward. And, oh, wow, he's done really well there. And then just scoffs. Well, the shot gets blocked, actually. It just takes too long on the ball.
Yeah, and that's what I meant by end product.
Like, Grealish, on the other hand, gets a shot away quite quickly. Be disappointed not to hit the target, but still a good chance for City.
What minute are you on?
52:08.
52:08.
Yeah, so for me, Raheem Sterling's one of those footballers that, like, I'm not too disappointed we sold. Suarez, I was pissed off we sold. Even when Sterling went, I was angry at him because of the way he left, but I didn't think he was going to be a big fucking loss. Like, he was a great player.
So such a special player.
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want about his character. I mean, I just think as a footballer, I think he was very special.
Yeah.
And like for Liverpool, he was incredible. And for Barcelona, he played in a front three that certain people we know still have to buy new socks for. So, and in fairness, come on, like you saw the way that he played. Like he was
the second goal here for Manchester City. It's a set piece. It's a corner that comes in. Leeds don't get ahead to the first ball, don't clear it. There's a bit of a scramble, and Ake pounces, just gets a quick toe poke.
This one is it's a bitter pill to swallow because Leeds were doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And to be undone by not one but two set pieces.
So it's headed in here by Ruben Diaz, and then it's knocked in by his left foot from Ake. It's actually a really good finish from Nathan Ake. It's a very good finish from Nathan Ake because he's hit that first time. He's hit that into the ground right in front of the keeper. So the keeper's got no chance at that. He's got absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
Great technique.
Nice. Sorry, someone said 69. It's the rule, bro.
It is a rule.
Watford conceded their 68th and 68th and 69th goal. Nice. Jack Grealish. So, what do you think? Do you think he's going to come good at some point?
I think he is playing well. I just never thought he was worth 100 million. That's all I said. I never thought he was a 100 million player. He's easily like a 50 mil player, 60
You're
mil.
really
player.
throwing shit at him. Grealish
But when he played against us, yeah, I'll throw shit at all of them. But I just never thought Grealish was a 100 million player.
Leeds fans are literally showing shit at him.
Oh, okay.
Not actual shit, but rubbish. They're not pulling an Amber Heard, so what can I say? Too soon? Okay.
No, it's never too soon to make fun of Amber Heard. Fuck that bitch. Any movie she watches, I'm boycotting straight up, bro.
Aquaman 2. There's a petition to get her removed.
She should get removed, bro.
She should.
Yeah, I'd sign that petition as long as I didn't have to put my real name.
Because you don't want to be cancelled.
It's not fucking stupid, bro. That shit, like 10 years down the line, God knows what the fuck that'll mean.
That's true. That's true. This is why we edit the stream, so you will never hear us talk about this conversation again.
Oh no! Please keep the Amber Heard shit in.
I'll make a point to ask MJ.
Yeah.
He'd be watching. He's like, bro, why are you talking about Amber Heard? I leave you guys for 1 minute.
Bro, like it was legit the biggest news in the world. It's overshadowed like fucking the Ukraine war. Like I'm not even shitting you.
It's okay. I'm not gonna say it's overshadowed it, but it's now reached that stage where people, and this is a news cycle thing, by the way. People hear the news on something bad that's happening. They care about it for a few months. Now they need something else to go about it. So Will Smith and the Oscars was a nice reprieve from the I say reprieve, not for the Ukrainian people, but like it was a nice reprieve from people watching the news about Ukraine. And now
Can you imagine? They were pushing so hard to have Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, on the Oscars, like zoom into the Oscars and like present an award or say something. Can you imagine how fucking disgraceful it would have been for him to be on the same show as that fucking cuck Will Smith and his insecurity fucking showering of praise? Like what was that? It was a celebration of the power Jada Pinkett Smith's vagina has over Will Smith. That's what the Oscars was. Why did we need to bring Zelensky into this? He went to the Grammys though, because it's better PR to be around like rappers and Travis Scott and shit like that than it is
Will Smith. He probably saw the slap. He's like, nope, not the PR I do.
Straight up, nope. Call my agent. I won't do this.
Yeah, it's but yeah, that's Amber Heard for you. She's taken over any conversation now, even a football game that we should be talking about.
Leeds are hanging in here. City will keep producing chances, obviously.
They play with pride, Leeds. I mean, it's nice to see one of our most hated rivals have pride. our players stopped playing after like 20 minutes. So yeah, sure.
I think your players are so quick to blame each other and be like, "Ah, it's because of this guy we fucking lose." See?
So like I said this to a friend recently. I need to actually tell you what I wrote to her. She's a City fan. She's a born and bred City fan.
Yeah.
From Manchester. What did I say? We become Chelsea in terms of player power, but like Spurs and teams in terms of player ability and work rate. That's depressingly hilarious. And I feel, I mean, I'd say that, and that's pre-Conte, but like I do feel that's what's happening with Man United. Like, actually, the more I hear about Man United, the more I just wonder what's going on. Like, I genuinely wonder. I actually had this thought today about the Harry Maguire meme that was coming out. Do they keep him in the side just so that Harry Maguire meme can come out and we get more PR? I wouldn't be surprised if that's a footballing decision. That's how badly managed our club is. I don't think it's true, but like this is the level I've gotten to at this point where obviously I was a little bit sleep deprived, and I watched that meme with Maguire. I'm like, I don't understand how he played that many matches. Yeah,
He's the captain.
I mean, I've seen captains taken out of the side before. If they haven't played well, Fergie would have done it 100%. He would have protected the player publicly, but he would have taken the player out of the side. And yeah, I don't understand.
Any good manager would have done that, and that's the thing. There's just no good manager in Harry Maguire. There's no good way to manage someone who is fundamentally just shite.
Yeah, and people really do to defend him.
Can City get a third here? They're still hunting. Sorry, just give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Now, to Leeds fans, I'm really wondering, would you take Harry Maguire? I would love for you to have him. Oof, good defending. I was talking about Harry Maguire because I'm very impressed with Leeds defending, and I just don't see that with United. You Leeds fans have been undone by 2 set pieces, and it's sad because of all of the hard work that you put in. Like, you haven't made this easy for Manchester City by any means. You've defended very well. You're still running for the ball, and there's another chance, and that's a really, really good play by Ederson. Good reading. Yeah, wow. Sorry, that was kind of brilliant by Ederson, because that was a bad mistake by Manchester City. And Leeds were on a break, and it was a first-time ball through, and he would have been through on goal, and Ederson had come out maybe 3/4 out of his own into his own half just to clear that up.
One of the things that I think Leeds can attack and should be attacking is just the switch. Just see if you can find the space to switch it up. City are very susceptible to the switch because of the way they press. Any team would be susceptible to the switch, but City, it's glaring that they are susceptible to it because they're weak. They're strong against everything else, right? But
Leeds were doing that in the first half, by the way.
Yeah, and Leeds were doing that in the first half, like attacking the channels and trying to get in behind. But I'm just not seeing enough of that in the second half because I just don't think they've gotten their players on the ball in midfield.
So Leeds fans, I want your opinion on this as well. Harry Maguire put out some PR from his, I think, Twitter page where he just did a compilation of 40-yard passes. So maybe you could use a player like him next season to help with the break against Manchester City. I'm just saying, I mean, we don't want to talk about his Liverpool 40-yard pass that led to the 4th goal, but maybe you can have him.
there are mistakes in this team, but Ederson mops it up.
And that's what I'm saying. That was brilliant by Ederson. He read that really well.
Yeah, it came out pretty quick.
If you could pick one player from either team to go into your squad, okay, pick two players, one from either team to go into your squad. Who would it be?
From these squads?
Yeah, from both City and Leeds.
De Bruyne. And see, I really like Rafinha, but I like Calvin Phillips a lot too. I really like Luke Ayling too. I'm a big Luke Ayling fan. I know a lot of people probably aren't, but I think Luke Ayling's a really good footballer. But I'd probably go with Rafinha. I'd go with Rafinha if there was a chance of him coming to Liverpool. I'd love for that to happen because I think he'd really fit in. Like, the guy understands pressing angles. He understands like ball movement. His own positioning and movement is so good. He's so good off the ball and on the ball. He's just lightning. He's just electric. I love players like that. He reminds me of Luis Diaz, or Luis Diaz reminds me of Rafinha. Switch it around however you want. Diaz, I think, obviously is a bit more dribbly and a bit more. He's got more flair, just naturally. He's more skatey. He slides around like a lot more. He's more likely to take a man on. But Rafinha is just a fantastic footballer as well. And we've never seen the best of Rafinha. We've not seen the best of Rafinha yet. I think if you put him on a team where they're dominating the ball, like, you know, almost every week, holy God, dude, he would be such a great player.
Fair.
De Bruyne is an easy one.
De Bruyne is an easy one.
Second best passer in the league.
Who's your first?
Thiago.
100%.
I'm not saying Thiago's a better player than De Bruyne. I think all around De Bruyne is probably better because he has a bit more. Actually, I wouldn't know. I don't know. I think Thiago on his day is the best midfielder in the world.
I agree. And look, again, this is just my type of player, right? Like you put me in like if you had the Scholes Gerrard Lampard debate, I pick Scholes because of the way that he played. If I look at this generation and I look at the players who I admire the most, just that Thiago type player, I don't think that there's anybody who comes close. And like I don't have any hesitation saying that he's a Liverpool player, and I wish I had him. Like he's just that. Like I don't know. I just think that he is the best midfielder in the world, and I've maintained that for a few years now. And yeah, you guys, I think like I would have him in a heartbeat. You know, like I just think he is that good, and I can understand the arguments for De Bruyne. I can because of how effective he's been for the longest time. But yeah, that's just my look. It's a preference. You know, it's.
Yeah, it is, dude. It is a preference. Like, you have to remember, like, Thiago comes from a Guardiola team.
Yeah.
You know, he comes from like a short passing, like spend a lot of time on the ball, like that was his game. Now he's playing at a different team altogether. We have a very different way of attacking. So he doesn't get 150 fucking passes a game anymore. But the ones he is making are just fucking quality.
Yeah.
Quality.
I don't think he'll ever get like fine. He got a lot of credit against Manchester United, and rightly so. He was brilliant, but what people don't understand about his type of player is that he's a dictator. Like he will control the tempo of the entire game. If he wants the team to play fast, he will start playing fast. If he wants to slow it down, he'll slow it down. He is the pass before the pass, but he can make a killer assist if he wants.
Yeah,
But his whole This whole
Like
thing.
you play a bunch of football, right?
Yeah, I do.
So, like I think certain players have that ability. Like at Liverpool, Xabi Alonso had it.
He
Stevie G,
was magnificent, by the way.
yeah,
I
Xabi
love.
Alonso was like probably the cleanest passer of the ball in his era, right? Like one of the
I
best
agree.
passers of the ball. And there's so many interviews of like Stevie G and like Jamie Carragher talking about the fact like the first day in training, he just passed the ball to like just a small little like one-touch pass, and they knew right away like, holy fuck, this guy's a player. Because at that level, you can tell, right? And
like in that team, by the way, just to go back on Alonso, in that very team, like when he was in that midfield three of Mascherano, Gerrard, and Alonso,
yeah,
and Gerrard got like all the plaudits because he was during that period of 04 to 06. I think I saw that in between like maybe 08 and 09, I saw like peak Gerrard, right? But like the player that I would love to watch for Liverpool was Xabi Alonso.
Xabi
Like,
Alonso.
like I said, it's my type of player.
Yeah, it's your type of player, right? Like you like the pass and move sort of player, right?
Yeah, I love it.
And I like my favorite player was Stevie G. So for me, I love like the all action, fucking be everywhere sort of midfielder. And those are just different styles, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I would always pick like a Gerrard over a Lampard.
Yeah,
and
fair
that's where
enough.
that comes from, right? And that's why I think for you, Scholes is like so iconic and like such a huge part of your football upbringing, so to speak. That
like
that's
you asked me if I
chose
had a choice to get a Gerrard, like I would, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say no to
But
someone.
if you were gonna pick one of the two, for you, it would always be a Scholes or a Thiago
it would
over a Gerrard style player, right?
But you see, this is the thing, right? Like I think it's very hard to like. I get why people want to compare them, right? But I think like again, I think it's
no, wait. Forget that.
Yeah.
Let's not even talk about those guys because I don't even want to talk about those guys. I'm just using that as a reference, right? I think when you're talking about a player like Thiago, I've played football with guys who are good, and I've played football with guys who are excellent. And the difference is the players who are excellent, they can pass it to you in a way that you just have to do one thing.
Yeah.
The time you've come to the ball, the decision of what to do next is made for you. So it's played with a certain pace that oh, I have to run onto this and put in a cross as quickly as possible. Or, oh, I need to take a touch here and play it back. Or I need to roll my defender. Or I need to hold it up. Like the way they pass the ball to you communicates everything about what's around you and what you need to do. And that's when you say like a general or like in command, that's what I see. Like that's what it means to me. And there's not a lot of players like that. I think James Ward-Prowse is one of those players. I think in the Spanish league, he's excellent. I think Bruno Guimaraes, I think, is a fantastic midfielder and a great passer of the ball. I really like him. There's very few players like that in the world, man. De Bruyne is one of those.
De Bruyne is a very special player, by the way.
Yeah.
But by the way, like a lot of like okay, so if I was to pick the best midfielders, and I know that okay, and in this era, I think Thiago is just starting to come into his own. But I hope, I hope he wins nothing, but I hope he's like he gets all the plaudits. Like you know what I mean, right? Like But if I hope that for at least for the next 5 years, like he has like a level which is just like people eulogize about, right? Like so for me, if I look at like the noughties, and then I look whatever you call the decade after the noughties, like 2010 2020, like my players would have been Scholes, and then it would have been David Silva, and then it would have been like, and now I'm looking at Thiago, and I'm like, I hope like a player like Thiago, I hate that he plays for you, but I hope that he gets like all the plaudits in the world because I just think it's phenomenal.
I'd love to see more footballers of that ilk, like of that of that personality, of that style of play where it's like little turns, little movements, like little shoulder drops, and like, it's just such a joy to watch that guy play, bro. But like similarly, I think, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, I think, is also a fantastic touch player. He's such a great touch player, and he doesn't get the same like plaudits for his touch because he's got such a little like great engine on him that like he's all over the pitch, and he gets a lot of qualities now. Like he gets a lot of plaudits for that, but I don't think he gets enough plaudits for like how good he is technically. He's a fantastic footballer technically.
Yeah. How they would always say, how can you fit Gerrard, Scholes, and Lampard in the same team? If it were up to me, I would be like, how can you fit? I mean, fine, you can say the same about Xavi and Iniesta, but like, I would be like, how can you fit Scholes, Silva, and Thiago in the same team? That I'd love to see. I don't think you could.
Yeah,
but like,
I don't think you could. I
no.
don't think you could.
You maybe have two quarterbacks, right? But like, no defensive midfielder.
Yeah. I don't know how the fuck you'd have to play one of them in like attacking mid. He wouldn't fucking like if you play Scholes there. Yeah, it wouldn't work.
Scholes, like to be fair, like Scholes did play attacking mid for a while, for like maybe a year or two when Veron came, and he scored 20 plus goals. Played as a number 10.
Yeah,
but you could tell like he just had very little time on the ball, and he'd still make the passes and he'd still score the goals and he'd get the assists, but like. His transition into the quarterback was like
Leeds are getting really unlucky as well on some of these like tackles and bounces.
3. So just letting you know, De Bruyne is not playing. Mara's on the bench as well.
Well, City do need to make changes, bro. They've got fucking Madrid midweek at the Bernabeu.
They do.
And they have to protect a goal.
I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, this is why. Ooh, off. Are you sure? It looks off to me. I miss the away goals in the Champions League.
Yeah. I always loved away goals, bro. I really like that, especially because
such a
dude, and it was such an advantage for Liverpool, dude. It was such an advantage for Liverpool because like
especially if you had the second leg at home.
Oh, dude, like fuck me. It was, and it used to hype up every game so much more because it's like, like.
Because you're like, then you have to do the calculations and
it just hypes it up so much more. And that's so unique about like the Champions League. I love the away goals rule just for the Champions League. Like fuck it for the FA Cup and shit, obviously.
I didn't think that mattered for FA Cup anything, but like away goals for this is another thing that I'm not going to enjoy about football. The Champions League next year, they just basically turned it into a Super League. But for UEFA, and it just, like this whole thing, the soul of the club.
That's a great finish from Raheem Sterling. Oh no, it's Gabriel Jesus. It would never be Sterling. He doesn't finish anything.
Yeah, exactly.
He hasn't finished on top.
For me, he looked offside. By the way, he looked offside. They didn't even check it.
I think he's on. First sight, it looked onside to me, but you actually, whoa. That looks offside, isn't it?
Yeah, they didn't even show the lines anymore, and I think that's wrong. I personally thought that was offside, and they just let it go.
No. He's onside, bro. He's onside.
Okay.
He's onside. Ailing plays him on.
Jack Grealish has done nothing this game, to be honest. I haven't seen him dribble past one person successfully. Wow, Grealish... He literally he saw the humor in it, but as soon as the ball went out of play, he went to get it, and he saw things being thrown at him, and he just kind of stopped. Luckily, it just all looks like paper. Yeah, it was kind of funny. You saw the humor in it.
Yeah, they should. Toilet paper, I think, is fair enough.
No, what I think should happen is that Leeds fans should not be allowed to leave the stadium until they clean that shit up.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know what this hoodie is that Guardiola wears, bro.
Maybe he's trying to be like Klopp.
Klopp doesn't wear hoodies.
What does he wear? Oh yeah, he wears
He wears that jacket. I don't understand this hoodie. It says MDCR at the back. What is MDCR? Let's fucking figure this out. What is this subliminal messaging this fucking oil baron club is fucking trying to sell me? MDCR. Oh,
what is it?
okay. Okay, brother. Here you go. Let me tell
What
you
is it?
Accept all cookies. So, what does MDCR stand for? Let me tell you. Manchester City ex MDCR collection combines an iconic Manchester football club with the alternative culture that brought its city to life. The Madchester scene of the early 1990s married alternative rock and dance culture in Northwest England's thrilling music scene. Up your game with this stylish jersey from the collection. Wow. This is because Oasis are fans of them. Literally, this is fuck.
Give me a minute, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a minute.
Anyways, another Manchester City news. Leeds have nothing here. City are up 3-0. It's been not bad from Leeds in terms of the actual overall performance, but you had a feeling if they just let City keep creating chances and have the ball around the final third and around the box for so long, City would eventually break through. Because the only way you can actually, I believe at least, stop City is at the source. You have to stop their midfield from getting much time to pick out a pass. Because they beat you with movement, timing, and technique and accuracy. They don't beat you with raw pace or strength or brute force. They beat you with how clever they are as a team, how well they move the ball, how well they move, how sharp their movement is, the understanding between the different players and the overloads that they create on all over the pitch, really. So you give them that much time, they'll unlock you. We have Fernandinho coming on for Rodri here. Rodri's had a good game. In the first half, it did look like Leeds were able to pierce through a couple of times, even though they weren't able to find the final ball or create anything from those, anything effective enough. But Rodri was found missing at certain spots in that first half, but he's cleaned it up so well in the second half. Spotless, really. It goes off for Fernandinho.
So I didn't watch the game Real Madrid versus or Madrid City versus Madrid, but I've heard it was a cracker.
It was a fantastic game. It was a really good game. Definitely worth a watch. If you haven't seen it,
see if I can get a recording of it, because I'll check my channel, see if I can find it. Time when it comes, and I'll just put a record on it so I can watch it, because I feel like it's a game I need to watch from start to finish, because they said that it's I think Fabrizio Romano basically said like it was like a movie, which it's those sort of games.
No, really. Yeah, I didn't understand how there was so much space on the pitch. Anytime like either team got the ball and went forward, there was so much space to exploit for either team.
What were the stats from that game? That I want to see.
I think it was pretty even. City definitely had more shots on target, or more shots. But
Not surprising considering they're at home.
yeah, dude, that first half.
16 shots to 6, 11 shots to 5, 60% possession to 40. 200 more passes, 80% pass accuracy for Madrid, 88 for City. It looks like a pretty even game, to be honest. 60-40 is not bad.
City played their game 100%, but Real also capitalized on pretty much any chance they created. They're really, really good.
Mm.
And they look lethal. Both sides look lethal. Like they just went punch for punch. But in the first half, you have to say like City could have ended the tie. They could have really ended the tie at like 6-0.
I heard that. I heard City were quite wasteful.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one as well. Like, what do you like? It's a difficult one because you've got a player like Salah, but who do you think should win? Who has a chance to win Player of the Year, Ballon d'Or? Do
Ballon
you think
d'Or.
it would be between Benzema and it has to be between Benzema and
It'll be between Benzema, Salah, Lewandowski. Messi will be in there. Neymar, Mbappe will be in there.
do you think Messi will actually have a chance?
No. But he'll be in there in like the top 10 rankings. Like he'll be in the vote.
He shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be, but he will be.
Let's have
For me, it's just between Benzema and Salah, really. And
Hmm.
I honestly think like Benzema's won the league, right? Salah's won the League Cup so far. They both have a shot at the Champions League still. Salah still has a shot at the FA Cup and the league as well. But I think if you just go on like individual play, you can say that Salah probably had one of the best first halves of a season that we've seen in the last like 10 years in the Premier League for any individual player. But Benzema has probably had one of the best second halves of a season I've ever seen in a Champions League. Like Stevie G's 2005 campaign comes to mind, where like it was just rescue operation after rescue operation. Difference is,
Olympiacos.
the difference is that guy was scoring one goal and creating a couple to save us the game. This motherfucker is scoring a hat trick in each fucking tie, bro.
Yeah. I think it reminds me of I think Ronaldo once had 3 goals in 9 matches.
Yeah.
And
what a ball through!
Oh no!
What a ball through, and he smacked it right at the keeper's face.
So I remember one Champions League, Ronaldo had like 3 goals in 9 matches. He ended it up with 12 goals in 13 matches, which is kind of insane. Like that's just like but this is the level that I think Benzema has reached. Like I think it's it reminds me of when I know Ronaldo loved Benzema and they kind of loved each other, but the kind of thing that happens in that sort of scenario is that one player sacrifices a lot of his game. And you saw that with Rooney, for example. He sacrificed a lot of his game to accommodate Ronaldo. And when he became the main man, he ended up with his best goals tally, which was 34 goals by the end of February, before an ankle injury meant that he never scored again. And he could have easily gone on to break the United record, in my opinion. I think Wayne Rooney that season was unplayable. But you get the same thing with Benzema. Benzema, this should be Gundogan. That's a poor miss. Should have been 4. But yeah, I think that's what happened to Benzema. Like he just became the main man. He's like, fuck it. Like I no longer need to play second fiddle. I was bought to Madrid for a reason. I'm going to be the best.
Yeah, I think it's been happening for a few years. Like, I think this is coming. Like, this season's been, the past few seasons have been building up to this. He's been evolving slowly into what I now call Ultima instead of Benzema. I just call him the Nissan Ultima. And Oh my God, Leeds, you've got to score there, you fucking twats. Just whack the ball into the fucking net. 3 shots, not one.
Yeah, they should have scored one.
Can't depend on these fucking teams to do anything for you, man. But what was I talking about?
Ultima.
Yeah. So this version of Ultima is like that version of the Incredible Hulk that in a virtual world had been fighting all of Marvel's greatest superheroes. And you know how the Hulk just gets better and better the more angry he gets. So that's how they made like Titan Hulk. He's like the ultimate Hulk.
Is it World War Hulk? You're talking
No.
about?
He's called Titan Hulk.
That one.
And yeah, he's insane, right? So I think that's what's happened to Benzema. The past few years at Real Madrid haven't been so good in the league or the Champions League. He's been building his craft, and like the difficulty and the sort of the fact that it's been such a difficult couple of years for Real Madrid have made him a better player. They've made him a better leader. It's made him more focused and like razor sharp. And like, if you look at him, dude, he converts like 4 out of 5 chances.
Yeah, it's crazy his ratio.
Like that's insane.
It is. And I mean, full credit to him. You know, like I remember there was a period. Oh, that should be a penalty. Don't give a penalty. That's a goal, though. Wow.
Oh my God, Leeds have woken up. But what we're seeing here is City now on the counter again.
So, like going back to it, like with Benzema, I remember there was a season. This was during the BBC, where he had a really bad season, and they were making as much fun of him as they made fun of Timo Werner.
Yeah.
And it's he was always better than that. I'm talking as a footballer, not as a person, but like he's always kind of better than that. So it's good to see him at least professionally, like he's getting the plaudits that he deserves. Because I mean, what a player! But like again, I want to point out that nothing against someone like Mohamed Salah, who I think is just a phenom.
I think Salah wins it this year. Like for me, Salah wins it this year.
It's gonna be a hard one. I think it really depends. Like these ones, I think they need a lot of consistency in what classifies you winning the Ballon d'Or. Is it trophies? Is it just personal accolades? You don't really know. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I look. For me, I think obviously, like you said, the criteria matters a lot, and we don't know what the fuck the criteria is really based on. But I genuinely feel like the 4 or 5 seasons that Mohamed Salah's had since he's come to Liverpool have all been world class. That is a world class goal from Fernandinho.
Yeah. And he should have gotten plaudits a long time ago. Personally speaking, I like it. Just annoys me how like Salah has done something so brilliant all season. Harry Kane scores 1 hat trick, and everyone's saying he's the best player in the world and like a best striker and blah blah blah. And I was just like, you don't like I don't get it. Like you can.
You know my opinion on that, bro. Like my opinion on that is that it's because he's Muslim and it's because he's Arab. Like being
I agree. I've lived in the UK, so I know this is true.
It's just because of who he is and where he comes from. You're not.
If he was Muslim and British, it might have been a different story because they
like Amir Khan or something like that. If he spoke
it would have been a different story, but they're like, he's one of us, you know. Like,
if he
had lost, then he's a Muslim, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And like, dude, like the fact that like he prays and like he's a good Muslim, he fasts and like Mane fasts. Do you know we changed our training schedule to suit the fact that both of the boys and Konate fast?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I really like that.
I think we're the only club who's ever fucking done that, like in the
And
Prem.
well, I think it also helps that both you need those players to be at optimum efficiency because you're going for four.
Yeah.
Like so,
Yeah,
like
dude, we won't train for you. Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, don't even come in. Like,
yeah,
don't worry about it. Celebrate Eid with your families.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's four for Manchester City.
It's a great
Uh,
performance.
it was a great performance, but I do think that was quite harsh on Leeds. But
Yeah,
Leeds should
yeah,
have been way more clinical, and that's the gulf in class. That's the quality of Manchester City. Um, they've moved back to the top of the table, and they've got a big game coming up against Real Madrid.
yeah.
So this title race feasibly could be as exciting as the one where both teams